Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2.8 of the Maritime Witch. Sean is here with me today.
Once again.
And on the heels of the last episode, where our discussion was about alternative medicines and plants and herbs and kind of mixing potions, I thought we would dive into alternative medicines a little bit more and actually discuss sound healing. I think Sean might have a little bit of input on this one since he is, the sound guy.
Well, I've been called worse, I guess. By you.
By me. Earlier today.
Yeah.
So there are two definitions of sound. Sound vibrations in the range of human hearing and then vibrations in general. And sound is actually being used more and more in therapies, conventional and alternative medicines. So above 20,000 hertz is what is considered ultrasonic, and below 20 hertz is considered infrasonic. So since we're focusing on alternative medicines and alternative therapies, let's get the conventional stuff kind of out of the way. So sound in conventional medicine today is used in ultrasounds. So these are all inaudible. So when you go to the doctor and what have you, the sound therapies that they use, you can't hear. So ultrasounds, which we all know what they use those for.
Like a dog whistle.
Like a dog whistle, yeah. There's also a treatment that is it's not an MRI, but it's a magnetic resonance guided ultrasound. It focuses on ultrasonic frequencies to destroy growth such as fibroids and tumors by rapidly heating them. This treatment has actually been in use since 1994 and has been used on fibroids, breast tumors, and more. And it shows high successful rates, but it's not something that is didn't really gain ground in conventional medicine. It's not something that's widely used. Another application in conventional medicine is the use of pulsing infrasonic sound waves to target kidney, gallbladder, and stones in the liver. I don't know, they put you in like that, pirate chicken. They put you in that tub of water and break up the stones, make them small enough so that you can pass them.
Give you a nice little bubble bath.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I really dove into conventional wise. Audible and alternative therapies there's so much to cover in this realm because we all know how sound affects all of us. We all have our favorite genres of music and our favorite songs. And actually, you and I have discussed how just hearing a certain song can take you back to like a specific moment in your life, to your childhood, to high school. The same with songs that you don't like. I mean, that resonates through your body as well. I have three songs. One I have learned to kind of like only because I make fun of it. And one is a Christmas song that I absolutely can't stand. And another song, which I'm not going to name, only because I'm pretty sure with copyright infringement, we can't play it on the podcast anyways, but I don't want Sean to put it in here because I don't want to hear it. Because I hate that song so much. But when, like you're at a party and your favorite song comes on, you're at a club and the song comes on and you want to hit the dance floor, songs make us cry. Certain artists, I think you and I discussed this too. I remember seeing a video circulating around social media a while back, and there was like this little guy in the back seat of a car, and he was listening to Christine Aguilera say something, and he just started to cry. Like it just resonated with him, and he just started to cry.
It's not always sadness, it's just
emotion. It
reaches you. It's art.
Yeah. And like I said, and then other songs, like the one I don't like, makes me very angry. That really invokes an emotion of anger because I do not like this song. I don't like the artist, and And I'm not going to, like I said, I don't want to offend anybody who might like the song or the artist. So, but what I like Christmas carol, we hear Christmas carols. So that, that floods us with, the sense of gingerbread and, Christmas smells and Christmas memories.
That's it!
It reminds us of people. Music, sound therapy, and music in general is very important in our lives. I remember when I was like 3 years old, I had a favorite song on the radio. We pick when we get married, it's important when we pick our first waltz and the first dances with mums and dads. And I know what you and we have theme parties, and so you concentrate on doing like an entire evening of sound based just on our theme. When we did our MASH 4077, we had a lot of army tunes. When we did superheroes, all of our songs were based on themes with superhero themes. And we also had a pirates and wenches party, and it was all pirate music for the night. And it was great because it really kind of invoked like an entire feeling and an atmosphere for the whole night. So that's just kind of like a synopsis of how music makes us feel. And when we're sad, we tend to listen to more sad songs.
Incidentally, you were saying about the 20 hertz and 20,000. Mm-hmm. The human ear actually loses a lot of the higher upper end the older we get. Mm-hmm. So most people can't really hear at 20. They say you can hear between 20 and 20, but most people can't really hear up as high as 20,000 kilohertz. And what happens is over time, your ear gets old, and then we're lucky to hear about 16.
Cool.
Anyways,
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of funny that you interjected with that because hearing is actually one of the first senses that we develop.
Yeah.
And it is the last to leave us upon death, as long as you haven't lost your hearing, obviously, as you age. I know that you have hearing loss, and I, for whatever reason, sustained hearing loss after I had COVID in my left ear. And they said it would be about a year before I actually regained my full hearing if I would, and I haven't. And that was, I don't know how many years ago now, 2-3 years ago. So I do have like it's not major significant, but I do notice it. And well, for example, at work, we had an alarm. I work upstairs in the building, and there was an alarm going off downstairs in the building, and my right ear faces the door. But if I was to turn my head so that my left ear was facing the door, I couldn't hear the sound of that alarm. And it was really, really weird because, I could turn my head, I could hear it, then I couldn't. So I do have a permanent loss. I shouldn't say permanent, but I would think at this point.
Now, with my hearing loss, it's weird. It'll go from one ear to the other. It just all depends on which ear is pointing towards you when you're talking.
Okay, so we're going to end the podcast right now. I'm going to go beat him up. Isn't he so sweet? Yeah. Oh, you do have selective hearing. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's a man thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So music therapy can be like listening to music, singing along with music. I sing along with music most often when I'm not alone because I don't want anybody else to hear me. And dancing, meditating to music, playing an instrument. Again, something I don't do.
Well, it's like getting a massage. There's a reason why that music is playing in the background while you're getting a massage, because it's meant
very
to
relaxing,
make you relax.
Yeah. So healing with sound is actually believed to date back to ancient Greece. Music was used in an attempt to cure some mental disorders. And, music has been used throughout history. It's been used to boost the morale in the military. It helps people work faster and more productively. And it's also been used to ward off evil spirits by chanting. And there is a Tibetan, I do believe it is Tibetan chanting that our late and great Tina Turner found her pathway in. And it is one of the most relaxing pieces I have ever heard, really. I actually have it downloaded on my phone, and I, put it on my Bluetooth when I'm in the Zen Den. And if you get a chance to check that out, by all means, like if it's not a Gregorian chant, but there's another one, is the Gregorian chanting. But yeah, this I can put the link in the Facebook post.
If you think that music doesn't really set any kind of a mood, try watching a movie without no music in it.
Absolutely.
Because, that's pretty well the whole backbone of setting the mood, especially like a horror movie or something, right?
Well, a horror movie, or even, I know right now, for quite a while now, the Marvel universe, here we are plugging Marvel, for those of you who are AC/DC fans, when AC/DC comes on, or like you said, Led Zeppelin, we had this discussion the other night. We kind of didn't understand. The Led Zeppelin song was cool, but it was the God of Thunder in Thor, and we kind of felt like, why didn't they use the song Thunder? But anyways, but the Marvel movies really use some great music when they're doing their scenes as well. But yeah, like you said, horror movies, Star Wars theme. We recognize there's another thing that kind of takes you back. We know music themes. We know television theme songs. Like you hear the "Come and Knock on Our Door," like Three's Company is coming on. Like those were just staples for us when we were growing up. Archie and Edith.
That's when they had good intro music. One of the reasons why they don't do intro music anymore, well, that besides the fact that people don't have much of an attention span, you can lose them pretty quick. Got to get right into the show. But the themes back then were really catchy.
Yeah.
And it really caught you like right away. They were like really good.
I as a huge fan, you hear those first 2-3 notes of MASH, you knew it was MASH. Like you just know, the music takes you to that particular spot.
Yeah, and it's same as memories. You hear a Cyndi Lauper song time after time or something, and you can pretty well remember what you were doing when you were listening to that song.
Or the first time that you've heard a certain song, and there's a reason why when you like a song, like you play it over and over again, like you don't mind hearing it. Some songs we do tire of. There's songs that I used to absolutely love, but they've been overplayed so much that now when I hear them, I'm just like, oh gosh, not again.
Country music.
Yeah, we're not country music fans. To those of you listening who like country, God love you, but it's not much. There's some that I like.
I like playing it, but I don't really like listening to it.
My dad was a Hank Williams, old Hank Williams. So there's a couple of songs, but again, I think for me, it's not like, I would go out and purposely seek to find a Hank Williams song, but there are certain songs that take me back to my childhood and they remind me of my father. And, same with when I was growing up, and of course, this is dating us. Well, we're 70s kids, and we would be in the car, and my father had an 8-track player in the car, and he had Fleetwood Mac, who I still absolutely love to this day. He had Wings' greatest hits. He had Buddy Holly. He had the Everly Brothers and the 50s, 60s rock revival. It was 25 rock revival greats. It was all 50s, 60s music. And that just instantly, takes me back to laying in the back of the back seat with no seat belt. And
yeah, see, my dad had the whole 8-track thing going on too, but it was more country. It was more Conway Twitty.
Your family is more of a country.
Charlie Pride and
yeah. Yeah, you were. It's surprising. Maybe you just had too much of it growing up. Maybe that's why you don't. You're a rock and roll dude.
Yeah, it's like I remember a lot of people telling me years ago. It's like, oh, the older you'll get, the more you'll appreciate country music. It's like, no. I like I said, I like playing it because it's like chicken picking. It's fun playing it on the guitar. But as far as sitting down and listening to it, it's just not my thing. But hey, to each their own. And I remember getting up in the morning, getting ready for school, kicking and screaming because I was never a morning person. And my parents would always have Country 101, which is a local radio station here. They would always have that playing, and yeah, that didn't make the experience any better.
Yeah. Anyways, we kind of got off I mean, it's all sound therapy in a way, but to get back to alternative medicines, a guided meditation. Again, you said like with the, when you go for a massage, most oftentimes there's like very relaxing music playing in the background. Most oftentimes, if you go for a Reiki session, there's also that relaxing music.
It gets rid of the stress.
And that's just it. It reduces stress and it decreases anxiety and depression. It reduces your blood pressure. It has been known to lower cholesterol and decrease the risk of heart disease and stroke. And for someone like myself, a reduction in pain as a chronic pain sufferer. So those kind of therapies are good for me as well as not just so much the relaxing therapies, but the therapies to kind of the music that gets me up and gets me moving. Regardless of how much pain I'm in, you crank on a dance tune for me and I'm going to try to move no matter what, because it's just, that's what it gets me to do. It gets me to move and it gets me to function a little bit more. And music therapy, like I said, it reduces stress and promotes relaxation, but it's also been shown to be more effective than prescription drugs in reducing anxiety levels before surgery. So did they play music when you were when you had your surgery? Did they play music?
Not that I remember. They kept on asking me, what are you here for? And I kept on thinking, well, if you guys don't know, I'm in trouble.
So then another method for therapy is the Bonney method. And it's named after Helen L. Bonney. And it's of guided imagery and music, classical music and imagery to help explore personal growth and consciousness. And it showed that it could really improve psychological and physiological health in adults with medical and mental health needs. Classical music is another one that is very, very relaxing. And I know people are going to probably roll their eyes when they hear this, but you and I have a very wide range of music that we listen to. We like a lot of genres, country music not really being one of them. But you and I used to listen to classical music a fair amount. And then we had a cat who was very sick and we used to play a lot of classical music. It really seemed to kind of reduce her stress.
Yeah.
And after we lost her, then it just became difficult for you and I to kind of go back to, because that music now takes us back to a very sad time in our life. So, that's very difficult for us. Tuning fork therapy uses the calibrated metal tuning forks to apply specific vibrations to different parts of the body to help relieve tension and to promote emotional balance. It works like acupuncture, using frequencies for point stimulation, but uses the forks instead of the actual needles. And there's some research suggesting that the tuning fork therapy actually relieves muscle and bone pain. Not something that I have ever seen done or been present. I've been to, well, as we know, a lot of these spiritual fairs, and I have seen gong therapy and shamanic drum therapy and triangle therapy. There are quite a few sound therapies that I have seen. Tuning forks has not to this point been one of them. Tibetan singing bowls as well is another therapy that is used. Again, all of this to reduce stress and depression, anxiety. The only thing that I will say is that if you're thinking about seeking out different therapies, especially with tuning forks and singing bowls, now I've only ever seen them used within an area. So you sit in an area and then you go through a guided therapy session without actually having anything on you. But there are some therapists who will actually put singing bowls on your body. If you are pregnant please inquire about this. Please do your research, because the vibration goes through your body. And some things can be detrimental to a developing fetus, as well as some of these therapies can actually be worse for somebody who has severe mental disorders. So, if you're, whatever your mental health issues are, again, disclaimer, like make sure you do your research, make sure that the therapies that you are getting are meant for you and that they're actually going to be more of a benefit to you than a hindrance to your health.
I'm just still thinking about how tuning forks and singing bowls. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a Disney movie. Tuning forks and singing bowls.
Well, you never know. Disney does cover a lot. Sound healing is also used to alleviate symptoms caused by PTSD, dementia. It's been used to help cancer patients and people with behavioral and psychiatric disorders. This would be a good spot for a commercial.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
Chester, Nova Scotia is a great place to visit and walk around. But when your feet get tired or your tummy starts to growl, well, that's when you should head into Imperfections Cafe on 54 Queen Street, Chester. Great coffee and treats, all-day breakfast, soups, and made-to-order sandwiches to tickle your taste buds. It's also a great place to catch up with friends and treat yourself. Imperfections Cafe, once again located at 54 Queen Street, Chester.
We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go!
Okay, and we are back after that little bit of a break while I kind of compose myself here and get back to my notes and find out where I'm at. Sound healing sessions can also be experienced as a one-to-one with a trained practitioner, where you would seek out therapy with the practitioner and it's just you and them. And there's also group session therapies where I have seen videos on social media with the Tibetan singing bowls, where it's like a group session, or a guided meditation where you're all sitting and, you have the music and then the practitioner leads the entire group in a guided therapy. So yeah, sound baths is another thing. Like I said, we do have a gentleman that goes around to some of the fairs and does gong therapy. And there's also a gentleman that does shamanic drum therapy. I have not been a recipient of either, but I can tell you that it's very relaxing, even just to be on the outskirts of it.
I used to watch the Gong Show. Does that count?
I don't know that was a very helpful therapy for people who got gonged and kicked off the show.
On the next hilarious Gong Show, you'll confront the amazing Flea Lady and her whoopee shoes, the singing Pointless Sisters, and the sensitive face of this man. They'll all perform and be judged by our panel of defenseless guest stars, Elkie Summer, Rex Reed, Phyllis Diller. All this and less on the next edition of The Gong Show. But remember, we warned you first.
Yeah, they had some people on there doing some crazy things.
Yes, they did. Not the kind of gong therapy that we are talking about. Drumming has been known to help with chronic pain, stress, boost your immune system. And the other thing too with Tibetan singing bowls is they shouldn't be placed near diseased or clotted veins, or if you're susceptible to blood clots or if you have vein problems. Just make sure that you do your research and check that out, just so that, again, you're not doing more damage than good. We want these therapies to be of benefit to anybody who seeks them out. Another thing with sound therapies too is they're really not meant for people with any kind of heart disease, heart issues, high blood pressure, and as we said, severe mental health disorders, and really shouldn't be less than 13 years old or have pacemakers or have epilepsy. So people with epilepsy and mental disorders really should there's a high caution there. Avoid it altogether. And also people with Parkinson's should avoid singing bowls. So, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, so those are kind of like some alternative therapies through sound. Again, not specifically targeted to, you're diabetic or, it's more for state of mind, relaxation, stress, anxiety. That's what these therapies are really, really aimed at. And well, for example, another sound therapy, I know that I haven't really researched this a whole lot, but I know that on social media now, there's a lot of videos with white noise, brown noise, green noise, pink noise, different frequencies that are meant to help with certain aspects of illness. And I know that you and I often will use aesthetics on YouTube, where we have the library with the rain in the background and the thunder, or the cozy camp in the woods. Like, there's a lot of really great sleep tools on YouTube. Yeah, it kind of takes you to a place, if you find that relaxing. For myself, I love to hear the sound of loons calling. So if I find a relaxation video that has like loons calling in the background. We did have one. I remember we bought a relaxation tape. This is when cassettes were a thing. And it was, I don't know if it was the Amazon rainforest, but the birds were squealing and the monkeys were squealing.
Yeah, so what's relaxing about that?
It wasn't really relaxing at all. I mean, if you find that kind of sound relaxing, I know there's a lot of people who find the sound that a crow makes unappealing. Now, for me, I love to hear the crows talk.
Or like loons in the distance.
Yeah, loons in the distance, wolves howling. We often hear a coyote off in the distance here once in a while. So animal sounds as well are something that people might find relaxing. There are people who, getting away from sound therapy, but even animal therapy, taking pets into seniors' homes or, pets into hospitals. I know that there's a huge surge, especially around here, in horse riding therapy. Kids who are disabled or have mental disorders, autism, it kind of brings them out a little bit, and it gives them a little bit of a focus, that one-on-one with a specific animal, and not something that you work around horses, so you know.
Yeah, that's more about feel.
Jack of all trades.
It's more about, thanks. That's more about feel than anything, because horses go off of body language. Mm-hmm. So when they feel everything, and just when you're on the back of a horse, it's just all, without getting into it too much, it's all more about feel.
Yeah, but still an unconventional therapy that is being used more and more today. So,
like what you were talking about earlier with the drums. Mm-hmm. Drums are good therapy, unless you're the parents of a child that's learning how to play drums.
Yeah,
then it's not so. Well,
the parent of any child trying to learn an instrument, I'm sure, after a while gets a little bit. You might need some sound therapy of your own once they're done their sessions.
I could learn this triangle if somebody would just tune it.
Yeah, so sound it's an interesting field, that's for sure. So without further ado, I think that's our little chat on sound. If you have any questions or anything else you want to tell, if we're screwing this up and you want to yell at us nicely, drop us a line at themaritimewitch@gmail.com if you have any suggestions for some upcoming shows. And just reach out. And
Yep, and if you're on Spotify or something like that and you want to take a little nostalgic trip back in time, just write down all the songs that you listened to at that time, put them all in Spotify on a list, listen to them all together, and watch the magic happen.
Mm-hmm. And now we will move on to the Zodiac portion of the podcast.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
So this episode, we are going to discuss Virgo. Virgo is between the dates of August 23rd and September 22nd. It is the 6th house. The symbol is the maiden. The element is earth. Virgos are precise and intellectual. They like to have a lot of attention to detail. They're practical, hardworking, reliable. They're critical of themselves as well as others. They don't like asking for help. They're stubborn. They can be irritable, and they can be a little bit picky. The ruling planet is Mercury. Lucky day is Wednesday. Flower, oh, here we go with the THs, a chrysanthemum. Hopefully I said that correctly. Lucky number 5. Their metal is platinum. Their lucky stone is sapphire, and their colors are blue and white. And now we will move on to the full moon portion of the podcast.
Bark up the moon.
So the August full moon is August 19th. It is a Monday. The August full moon is known as the sturgeon moon, the corn moon, and the lightning moon. The reason why it is called the sturgeon moon is because during this full moon is when there's a large number of sturgeon that are found in the Great Lakes. So that's why it was named that. It is a time for fun. It is a good time to be working on your journals. As with any full moon, it's a great time to charge your crystals, meditate, honor your ancestors. The August full moon also is a good time to treat yourself. So a little bit of self-care, buy yourself a little present, and make space for new possibilities. If you're doing a full moon ritual or any spell work, the peak of the moon is the best time for you to perform these. And so, happy birthday to all of the Virgos, which leads me into the shout out section of the podcast. Yay! So here we are in the shout out section. So very first shout out is a happy birthday to my mom on August 23rd. She is a Virgo. Should I say how old she's going to be? Oh, what the hell? She's not listening. My mom's going to turn 80. So I'm quite sure she's not listening. But if she is, hey, she's 80. That's great. And so happy birthday to Mom. And up and coming events. So August 24th, Spiritual Craft Fair at the Mahone Bay Center. It is on 45 School Street, Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia. Your host is Corrine Moland. It is from 10 until 3, and there is a $2 admission. On August 31st, there is a spiritual expo from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Kingston Lions Club, 1482 Veterans Lane. $2 admission, 12 and under is free, and is hosted by Kimberly Spiritual Guidance. And a couple of more shout outs. One is a new place. One I don't know if is a new place or not. I hope I'm saying their name right. Azure. It is on 5 Pleasant Street in Chester, Nova Scotia. It's across from the Scotiabank. They specialize in amethyst, jewelry, fossils. They have a great Facebook page, very, very active. And I actually took a little hop down there. I did buy a little gift for somebody when I was there. Prices are very reasonable. You can spend a little or you can spend a lot depending on, what you want to purchase. Really, really great people. Go in and say hi and check them out. Really, really great stuff. Very focused on your gemstones or very focused on your crystals and what have you. And very, very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. I have a rock that I found when I was a kid. And Doug, he and I had a really great discussion. I have to find it so I can take it down and show him. But he told me what it was. Unfortunately, with my brain leaking like a sieve, I don't remember. And also just want to give a shout out to a store that I did not know existed. They actually gave us a like on Facebook. Fresh New You in Micmac Mall on the 2nd level. They have a Facebook page as well. Sell jewelry, incense, candles, essential oils, tarot and oracle cards. So another great little witchy spot for you to go to. And I think that so far that is it. We will be back in September for our September show. And in the meantime, may the universe find you happy, healthy, and safe. Blessed be.
We're getting closer to Halloween.
Yes, we are.
Another couple of months.
Yes, we are.